Most weekends I'm away, but then busy, morning and night with the dogs, out walking and get them out exercising every day.
Okay. Well, this is one of the things we want to talk about, that you do a lot of travelling to shows, etc. What are some of the things that you learnt, I guess, starting off from the beginning, that you learned about travelling with dogs? You put them in crates, do you chain them down, do you drug them, what do you do?
Well, I'll first start with when you've got a puppy, travelling for the first time in the car, say if you've gone to pick it up. More times than not, they're going to get a bit of car sickness. They're going to be drooly, and quite often might have a little vomit in the car.
That's stress, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, stress and just motion sickness, and something they're not used to. I mean, I've had many puppies do the same thing, and they do get used to it. With us travelling to local shows, I mean, the travelling's not too long, and most of my dogs, well, all of my dogs now are fine, either in the car or I'm travelling in the trailer as well. They don't get any motion sickness. So it is a sort of travelling often, they do get used to it. And obviously in the car, either having harness seatbelts on, or I usually have my dogs in crates while they're in the car.
Okay. You kind of almost, in inverted commas, train them to be in crates, don't you? Because when you're in between going out to the ring, the dogs ideally need to be contained, or often need to be contained.
Absolutely.
So they need to be crate trained from day one.
Crate trained. I crate train all our dogs and puppies before they go to their new homes as well. They're all crate trained, and we do recommend to new owners to keep that going. It's somewhere for them to sleep in at night, so they're not wandering around the house. And
what, they don't sleep on the bed with you?
No.
Okay.
I know some people might like that, which
some people with small
fine.
white fluffies, maybe.
But I think it's somewhere that you can, the dog can go for meals, to have quiet time. If you've got visitors over and you don't want the dog sort of running around and jumping on everyone, or not that it should be, but it's somewhere that the dog can be put in, that they feel safe, and they should be able to curl up and go to sleep. Yeah.
Now, of course, we've got everything from toy poodles, and even slightly smaller, right up to Great Danes and the like. Is there any difference in how we should be treating these dogs when we go travelling with them, apart from perhaps where they're going to be in the car?
Yeah, no, I think every dog should be treated the same when travelling. I would probably not feed them before going on a trip away. If you've got like a few hours in the car while you're travelling, it's probably a good idea not to feed them, because if they do get a bit of motion sickness, they're going to bring that up, and you're going to have a big mess. Well,
that's the other thing as well, isn't it? We use the term empty the dog, empty them at night basically, and try and get them to respond to that. And so I guess before you go in the car, empty the dog. Make sure it's
empty. Make sure they've gone to the toilet. And if it's a really large dog, it might have to be in the sort of the back. If you've got a sort of a screen, right in the back for large dogs, or in a crate, and also with a harness.
Well, they do need to be restrained legally. They need to be restrained, so and for their own safety as well. Okay, now, let's say we've got a dog that just doesn't seem to kind of click with travelling in a car, just like, I hate the car. What can you do to kind of, I guess, help calm that? We don't need brand names or anything, but the kinds of, are there drugs or are there scents and things they can take?
There are drugs that you can, sort of anti-anxiety drugs that you can give them, and I guess it's something that you can desensitise them to doing short trips. If you're going to, even if it's just around the block and then back home again, and then once they get there, make it sort of a fun thing. And if you're doing that regularly, then they'll get used to it and make the trips slightly longer each time, and trying to make it a fun experience. And it's something I think they should get used to. There are drugs also if they get in the car and they get motion sickness and they start to feel nauseous. I guess that's going to be off-putting for the dog. So there are drugs that you can give as an anti-nausea medication, which really do help as well.
So don't go to Dr. Google, go to your local vet.
Yes. Absolutely.
Fantastic. Carly Kavanagh, thank you very much for joining us on Food Like Pets Travel.